This is part 3, episode 183. Terrifying, this beast is much more powerful than the star-eating sector lord. The Ka Wu undying Fen Ya was covered in flames as he stood in space. Wielding the two huge hammers and staring at the mountain-like silver beast, his countless years of battle experience made him naturally fear this beast before him. Howl. The silver beast let out a howl, its huge silver wings beginning to flap. As fast as teleportation, it instantly passed over 10,000 kilometers in distance and appeared before Fen Ya, after which it slashed forward. The space was like tofu before it. So fast, faster than any opponent I've met before, even faster than the emperor I met before. Fen Ya was in distress. He was clear that the speed was his weakness. Against this huge powerful claw, he could only grit his teeth and defend against it with his hammers. Rumble. The space around them crumbled. The two fire hammers clashed with the claw, and the over 10 kilometers thick limbs of the beast slashed through as easily as stepping on an ant. It slashed past the two hammers at the official Undying's body. The blade-like slashes of the claw went through everything. The two hammers were knocked far away, and Fen Ya was completely torn apart. His powerful body had no resistance against the beast's claws whatsoever. Howl. Immediately after slashing Fen Ya, the silver beast changed from slashing to slamming, pressing down fast on his broken body. Fen Ya was smashed into little pieces. The powerful official level Undying was reduced to powder from a simple slash and slam from the silver beast. However, the powder instantly regained his human form. He looked on with fear at the beast. Emperor level strength. Fog Island actually has an emperor. This beast is actually an emperor. Fen Ya was afraid now. While exchanging blows he could feel it. Emperors were incredibly rare, and the chances of bumping into one was simply too low. Luo Feng stood on the distant mountain peak and frowned. His energy didn't decrease at all. He was already reduced to powder earlier, yet it had no effect on his strength. Undying body is indeed an undying body. Even though the golden horned beast isn't strong now, it's still around the level of an emperor level. The silver beast was the golden horned beast. It was the beast in its strongest form. The beast was supposed to have 5 black horns filled with complex gold engravings about it. However, after melding with the general armor, it could take on any form. Luo Feng purposely made the 5 horns into a crown-like look on its head, and as beast god transformation, had some effect on the beast's body too, after the fusion of the Showu wings. Hence, it was hard to tell that it was a golden horned beast. Unleashing beast god transformation. Its 4 limbs grew thicker, and its tail was longer, as it became more like the structure of the beast god. After the golden horned beast's transformation, Blood River Energy, Nameless Manual's first level, it made it 330 times stronger than a human sector lord. Using the amplification techniques like beast god transformation, deities of the world and its ability strengthen. Deities of the world amplified it 7.5 times. Beast god transformation's first level was simply 2 times. However, these two were simply body amplification, they would contradict each other. Just like how deities of the world could reach 36 times, and beast god transformation could reach 64. However, the two didn't fully add on to each other. Simply reaching 80 times was already not bad. Hence these two techniques added together currently only had an overall effect of about 10 times. Combined with strengthen. This natural ability had no conflict with anything, it completely added on to anything. Hence, the beast could reach 20 times the max strength, just from these techniques. Its body itself was 330 times. With everything combined, 6,600 times the sector lord's strength. Finally, with the general armor's 10,000 times sector lord strength. Its final strength was 16,600 times. It was already in the emperor level. It couldn't be helped, Luo Feng's current law comprehension was weaker, even with the fusion laws. It was just about emperor level. Its entire strength was that of a low emperor level. Of course with Fen Ya that was 2 to 3 times weaker in body structure, and comprehension that was much weaker, it was easy to defeat him. After he reformed from powder, his world ring and hammers flew to his hand and he looked with fear and rage. I have to flee, otherwise I'll be killed. This fog island actually has an emperor, this is seriously bullying. He turned and fled, keeping his weapons in his world ring. He was clear that with or without them, there was no difference against that beast, it would instead affect his speed. Flee. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed coldly at the peak. I let you reform earlier, let's see how you do so again. Start eating. Luo Feng tossed. A gold light flew swiftly at Fen Yue. It was the golden star eating plant. Simultaneously, the terrifying pressure from the golden horned beast rushed down from above. With a flap of the Showu wings and the first level of strike travel, it easily reached above Fen Yue, making him look on with despair. Emperor Undying, why have you come here? Fen Yue howled with despair. Right? Fen Yue hadn't even realized up till now that this beast was actually a sector lord. Luo Feng had discovered this when he first began to meld the Showu wings. The wings were a true treasure. Even the primal chaos city leader, that level of being recognized it as a treasure, enough to make knights go crazy for. Back then. After Luo Feng acquired them, he melded it for the first time with the golden horned beast. He felt that the wings were simply too heavy and tiring to use. As time passed, it was just like the Luo Fuchi board, it gradually became one with the body of the beast, almost just like another part of its body. After fully melding, the beast's body naturally gave off an aura. This energy was from the Showu wings and it released it from the body of the beast. Even though it only released a little of it, it was enough to shock any official level Undying. With the fusion of the wings, there was no way to sense the beast's true strength. True Yang Emperor had said that Yang Zhu Emperor had a special treasure that even knights craved for. The moment it was activated, it would be extremely powerful. Luo Feng had exclaimed back then. However, I now have this Showu wings, it's enough to make the knights go crazy for. Just the pressure I release from it is just like the pressure an Emperor Undying releases. Rumble. Another slash. The poor Ka Wu Undying fleeing hard was instantly reduced to powder. As they regained its form, the beast slashed once again. 3 continuous slashes. Fen Yue kept reforming, and even after a total of 3 times, his strength was unaffected. This was an undying body. Rumble, the 4th time he became powder. The gold star eating plant madly grew, its speed was naturally not like the golden horned beast. It only managed to catch up after the 4th time Fen Yue was destroyed. Countless gold leaves began to swallow the powder. The powder dispersed from the leaves and vanished. The undying plant actually didn't manage to swallow any of the powder. The countless powders reformed into Fen Yue again. What's he using the undying plant for? Looks like this star-eating sector lord hasn't fought with an official before. Doesn't he know that to kill one, he has to either destroy the soul or forcefully annihilate me? Fen Yue looked on curiously at the distant Luo Feng, turning to flee again. Rumble. Another slash and slam, he became powder again and reformed. This emperor beast is another thing, why does it keep attacking me like that? Fen Yue was growing more suspicious, even though it's emperor level, it's barely an emperor. Does it think it can kill me without any consequences at all? Fen Yue fled again. The beast slashed again. Luo Feng frowned on the distant peak. It's like what I read before, killing an undying with an undying body sure is hard. Luo Feng's status was very high, naturally he had read up on this information before. With his methods, he was naturally unable to destroy his soul, he could only forcefully annihilate him. And that was extremely tough. It relied on absolute strength to pressure the enemy and destroy his undying energy. As long as his undying energy was destroyed, the enemy would die. There were 2 ways to forcefully annihilating the enemy. The first was when the difference in strength was huge, like the primal chaos city leader or knights, they could easily kill an official level undying without any consequences. When the difference was that huge, destroying an undying body was easy. The second was for when the difference wasn't that huge, a low-level emperor killing a high-level official, even though one can keep destroying his body, the enemy can keep reforming it. One would have to pay some price to kill the enemy then, that was to burn some of his own undying energy, burning some of one's own soul. And this was an eternal loss. A low-level emperor burning some of his undying energy would have an instant increase in strength, enough to reach a pinnacle emperor. Naturally, he would be able to kill an official. Annihilating a high official. Even a low-level emperor would have to recover for 100 to 1,000 years to get this done. Of course, for a high-level emperor to kill a high-level official, even without burning undying energy, using normal attacks while burning some undying energy, could achieve the same effect, and the recovery would only take a few years. If it was an emperor pinnacle, then one could easily kill Fen Ya. This was forcefully annihilating. It relied on a definite gap in strength. If the gap wasn't huge, one would have to rely on burning undying energy. Barely an emperor, and he wishes to kill me without any consequences. Fen Ya felt the dilemma too. How can I kill him? Luo Feng frowned. Destroying his body over and over doesn't harm him at all. And forcefully annihilating relies on burning undying energy. The golden horned beast is a sector lord. It has no undying energy to burn. What do I do? Luo Feng was stuck. With the golden horned beast's strength, it's easy to win the fight against that Ka Wu undying. Killing him, however, it's not at the level of burning undying energy. The beast doesn't have undying energy. Have I reached a dead end? Luo Feng pondered on the many options within his mind. Everything was discarded again, as none could work. There's only one way. Maybe, just maybe. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. I'll rely on Yushowu wings. The beast had already unleashed its strongest sky-tearing claw. The next strongest move would be the Showu wings. This was a treasure given to him by the primal Chaos City leader himself. It was used to flee, and it did have some battle ability too, the leader had told Luo Feng back then. Of course, it was mainly for fleeing and flying. It only had minimal attacking abilities. Luo Feng had experimented with it before and felt that its strongest points were its speed and sharp feathers. Slashing with them while flying at high speeds was like cutting with a blade. Howl! The silver beast flapped its wings and once again rushed at the fire giant Fen Ya. Can you not be so excessive? Why? Fen Ya was worried and angry. This silver beast's instantaneous speed, how can it be so absurd? It's only barely an emperor, it shouldn't be that fast. If it was a bit slower, I'd be able to reach sub-light speed and then escape. Fog Island's resistance was pretty huge. Reaching sub-light speed was the limit. One had to go to the special universe travel spot to reach light speed. As long as one was an undying, with enough time, they could all reach close to light speed. The moment they reached that speed, even if an emperor level was chasing behind, he wouldn't be able to catch up to a normal undying. As everybody's speed was about the same, no one could actually catch anybody. Unless one had teleportation. Hence, the undying battles relied strongly on instantaneous speeds. If the distance was close without sufficient space in between, it would be easy for one to instantly catch up with another ahead. After all, it did take a while to reach close to light speed. Showu Wings 3 forms. I can only trigger the first form currently, and my flight is already at a demonic level, the movement speed is shocking. Luo Feng thought. Even Yang Zhu with his treasure from his father, the moment he triggers it he can fight against a pinnacle emperor. Even though my Showu wings aren't mainly for attack, but used for fleeing, the moment I dodge and flee, unless one has teleportation, or time stop, even an emperor-level undying wouldn't be able to catch me. Rumble. The beast flapped its wings and moved fast as lightning as it left a blur in the air. At this point it already reached beside Fen Ya. The feathers were like blades. As it flew past, the feathers acted like blades and slashed at Fen Ya, almost like slashing through tofu as his body split in half at the waist. Fen Ya let out a howl of pain as he was slashed in half. Even when he was reduced to powder before, he had never once let out a cry of pain. Pain, intense pain. The formless piercing energy acted like water. Melting the ice, his undying energy seemed incredibly weak against it as it was forcefully melted away. However, the effect on his body was very minimal, it only instantly destroyed 2% of his undying energy. This was destruction from the root. Ah! Fen Ya howled in pain. I've succeeded. Luo Feng stood on the distant peak and revealed a look of glee. With his sensing abilities, he could feel his enemy instantly lose 2% of his undying energy. This effect surprised Luo Feng, ha ha. This is indeed a treasure even the primal chaos city leader regards as valuable. Its main use is for fleeing, however it still has some attacking ability, and that little bit is this powerful. And this is but a small portion of its true strength. The Shou wings were incredibly mysterious. With the trigger of one's body and energy strength, it could trigger mysterious abilities. Luo Feng called this the space energy, and this was the powerful core of the wings. This particular energy allowed the golden horned beast to fly at shocking demonic speeds. The second form of the wings allowed for it to completely throw the space into disarray. One had to reach the third level of bones to trigger it. The third form allowed one to control the space tides. Required fifth level of horn to trigger. This all required the space energy from the wings to trigger. This special energy was incredibly powerful, however Luo Feng could only unleash the first form currently. The space energy was from the core of the wings, but Luo Feng could only trigger a very small portion of it currently. Yet it could already destroy 2% of his undying body. Ha ha, go and die. Ka Wu undying, go and die. Luo Feng was extremely happy. Rumble. The beast flapped its wings, and he once again used them to slash past Fen Ya's body. Fen Ya had no ability to even dodge. Even though he reformed over and over, as he reformed, the beast would slash past him again, and he would lose another 2% of his undying energy. Even with an undying body, it would only take 50 times for it to be over, if he was a normal undying. Losing 50% of his undying energy was akin to 50% of one's soul, and his consciousness would instantly crumble. With an undying body, even after losing 99% of his undying body, he still wouldn't die. However, the final 1% could at most hold his memories. He would become a cannon fodder amongst undyings. Relying on this 1% to regain all his past strength would require trillions of years. No. No. Fen Ya howled in pain. Spare me, respected Emperor, spare me. Fen Ya communicated mentally to the golden horned beast. Against the beast's terrifying speed, he knew that even if he burned his undying energy to flee, he would still be unable to escape. That mysterious silver beast was simply too fast. In an instant, he was attacked over 10 times. Fen Ya's undying body was left with only 50%, he lost half of his soul like that. Emperor, don't force me, don't force me. He howled. Force you? Other race, just die. The beast's speed was terrifying, its silver wings slashing over and over at Fen Ya's body, destroying countless years of energy accumulated within. The undying body was the core. No. No. Seeing that he was only left with 30% of his energy, he was panicking. Losing half of his strength was too huge a loss. He howled in rage and finally sunk into despair. As the silver beast once again attacked, he let out a howl within. Rumble. He instantly self-destructed his entire undying body. Self-destruct. Fen Ya's final decision. Even if he couldn't kill an emperor, he wanted to heavily damage him. This was his revenge. Rumble. The space about crumbled along with the mountain range. The beast had wrapped itself in the Shou wings as it was extremely close to the explosion. The wings had the ability to disperse the attacks because of its special material. Before this, out of the trillions of races in the universe, only the primal chaos city leader knew of the existence of the Shou wings. Destroying it was hard even for universe masters. This explosion was but a tickle against the wings. It diffused over 99% of the attack, with the final remnants of the force landing on the general armor, as long as it didn't exceed the armor's strength, 10,000 times that of a sector lord. It would be completely diffused. Rumble, the universe space crumbled. The huge beast wrapped in the silver wings flew back tens of thousands of kilometers, before spreading its wings in glory, its cold gold eyes looking forward. It took all the goods left behind by Fen Ya. I have to leave quickly, that battle drew too much attention, there are already some teams rushing over. Luo Feng frowned and looked in the distance. The beast entered his internal world. With a flash, he used his strike travel. However, it was obvious that his usage, compared to the golden horned beast, was on a completely different level. One was mainly the difference in body, and secondly, the beast had the Showu wings. The death of one of the 12 officials of Fog Island, Boulder, was known to very few. He didn't send out a distress signal before dying, as there were no other allies who were stronger than him on Fog Island. Who could he ask for help from? As for leaving a warning to others, who would he warn? With the silver beast reaching emperor-level strength, only the 12 officials could actually make a move on it. As for the other 11 officials, none of them were from the Kaewu race. Since I'm dying, some of you will come join me. Fen Ya didn't care about the others. If they were the same race, he may have warned them, but towards the other races, he wasn't that noble. Luo Feng returned to his base. The star-eating plant grew throughout the caves to protect his palace, and Luo Feng sat within happily. Ha ha, Showu wings. Teacher gave me a true treasure. His mood was extremely good. He sat and drank his wine as he pondered. I finally got a sense of fighting a strong warrior. That Yangzhu has a treasure that would make other emperors jealous. Yet now, I have one too, and it's even better than his. Even though its main usage is for fleeing, however it still has some offensive and defensive abilities. He. A thought struck like lightning within his mind. He muttered softly, the golden horned beast's close combat and the blade work of the human body. After which his eyes gleamed. Time video will end here.